Alright, so I'm setting myself up to do some squats here. I'm doing a warm-up set. Now, if you see my form there, you see my hips, they kind of roll a little bit. And if you're not familiar with it, it's called a butt wink. And it's a slight butt wink, it's not too bad. But under really heavy loads, you want to try your best to really avoid that. When I'm warming up, I have a tendency to have less stiffness in the torso and not get tight enough. So because of my tight hamstrings and adductors, it's hard to get that parallel position or below parallel position without that small butt wink. Alright, so here's 185. This is kind of my, I don't know if you call it a or post warm-up set. Kind of a working set, 185 pounds. I do a set of 8 repetitions. And when I set myself up on a squat, I always try my best to make sure my shoulder blades are very tight behind my pinched tight behind me, so that way I create a good rack for the bar, and I keep a really good position. I usually try my best to put I like a low bar squat. I like it the lower it is, it feels a little bit better for my squatting technique. That's just my preference. All right, so here I have 225, and let's go see how I do. And when I try again, pushing my knees out, really squeezing the glutes, and just doing my best to pinch those shoulder blades together. The one thing I do have some issues with, if you notice my left elbow, the angle of the wrist and the elbow is not ideal versus the right. I don't know if you can notice that. But if I squat a lot or I squat heavy loads, it does give me some elbow problems at times. So it's always important to kind of keep a tighter position, which means I need to spend more time stretching my chest before squatting. So here I have 245. Doing a set of 8 repetitions. And here I'm hitting parallel pretty good. I feel pretty solid. I'm just surprised how light it feels today. I don't squat too often because of my kind of back problems. I have a psoas hip flexor problem that flares up when I squat and deadlift too often. Alright, now here is my first working set of deadlifts. My max set, or my 1 rep max personal record is 455 pounds, or maybe 445 pounds, excuse me. And here I'm just doing some rep work with 315 pounds. Got 3 plates on each side with a thicker bar. This is to work on my grip strength. And I'll admit my form on this isn't the greatest. I was trying to go for a set of 10, but my back got too tired, and I just cut my losses. I'm deadlifting in the rack. I was just trying to hurry up before my class that I teach. I teach TRX right after this, and I was going to teach that. But one thing that I don't like about this rack is I'm always afraid I'm going to hit the rack or I'm going to slide over to the left or the right. So next time I usually don't deadlift like this. I usually actually deadlift barefoot too. But I was kind of in a rush. It takes me a lot of time to set up for squats and deadlifts because I usually take a long time to warm up because of my back and hip flexor problem. Now here you can hear me set up. You can see me set up. I externally rotate my shoulders and pull my shoulder blades back before I grab the bar. That way I have a nice tight position with my lats. I incorporate my quads and just pull the bar straight up. And you can see I have a pretty good vertical bar path. The barbell is moving straight up and straight down. And you can see my lats is pretty well flexed. I am beginning the round near the later repetitions. Okay, so I wear a belt for this last set because I'm just getting really fatigued. And it really makes a big difference. I mean, having that belt on, I can really just hammer through them. I just stay tighter longer, and my pelvis stays better controlled so my lower back doesn't get too exhausted. So you can see me there. I'm pretty tired, and I rushed the belt off because I was getting a cramp, almost like a side stitch that you would normally get when when you're running, kind of, or you're doing some cardio and you're out of shape. And it was a weird feeling. And I don't know if anyone's ever felt that before. Maybe the belt was too tight. It was just cramping right below my rib. It was interesting. Okay, so that took me about 50 minutes to get through, and then after I taught my class at 11, I went and did my upper body section for the day. So I do a set of pull-ups. I do 10 reps here. And I try to keep my feet in front of me, and I try to keep my legs tight and my butt squeezed to make sure my core and pelvis stay activated this entire time. It's always better to have your feet in front of you because you activate better and you keep your core activated. Now, what you see me here is I'm mobilizing my first rib and shoulder. This is a technique I learned from Kelly Starrett of themobilitywod.com. He has some great material on how to mobilize and get flexible for full range of motion movements. And you can see how I'm using the barbell to press on my first and second rib, right there where my trapezius is, so that way I can, stretch out and really get that right arm above my head. Because my right arm is much more tighter when I get my hand above my head, and part of it's because I'm missing some range of motion in my shoulder of my right side. And I found that this mobilization works really well. So here's my second set, doing a set of pull-ups. Actually, my form on this is not that great, in my opinion, with the hips. My upper body looks fine, but my hips are just too noisy. I need to be more stiff next time. That's another reason why I make these videos, is so I can assess my own form. And then here's my third and final set. I think I do like 6 or 7 here. 3. I find myself having to cross my legs sometimes because my hamstring wants to cramp, especially my right one. Alright, now I'm doing some chest, doing some dumbbell presses, so with some 80-pound dumbbells here for my first set 1 of 3. And you notice how my elbows come in. I try to mimic the bench press as much as possible because I like my my arms, my elbows to come in, so that way I can keep a tight shoulder position to protect my shoulder as much as possible and create as much torque necessary, so that way I don't hurt my rotator cuffs muscle. And I always plant my feet really good and activate my butt. For this next set, I'm doing a set of 90s, and same thing. I open up my hips, open up my rib cage, plant my shoulder blades, and I just press really tight. I go as low as I feel where the dumbbells just barely pass my chest. I like to go to 90 degrees. Actually, I like to go lower than 90 degrees. And I bring my elbows in, again, to protect my shoulder primarily. If I flare my elbows up higher, I find that over time, I get problems in the shoulder. So you can see how I get up and down. I plant them on my thighs, and I get up. I let the dumbbells carry me. Some people are not familiar with this technique. If you've been doing dumbbells for a while, this is not too unfamiliar. But for those that are new to dumbbell work and are trying to wonder how they get heavy weights above their head, you just get comfortable putting them on your thighs and having the weight lever you up and down. And here I think I do a set of like 7 or 8. And I just get close to failure, maybe about 1 repetition from failure. Here I'm doing some lat pull downs. I really like doing lat pull downs in conjunction with pull-ups, mainly because I like to work on overhead position, hands above my head, because I'm missing some flexibility there. And here I pull extra wide. It's one of the big advantages of lat pull down is you get to really work the lats wide from a pretty good position that I really like. And this is my, I think, second set. You couldn't even tell that because of my, I didn't put a transition in there. And I think I do a set of 135, 150, and 165, somewhere between 7 and 10 repetitions. Now this one I feel I try my best to get comfortable with the shoulders, because my left shoulder clicks sometimes when I get my hands above my head. And when you hear that clicking and you feel like a little snap, you want to be careful because you don't want to hurt anything and cause any problems and make things worse. Alright, now here I'm doing some strict presses. Now my goal with this particular workout program, I'm doing 115 pounds here, 135 on each side with a 45-pound barbell, or 20-kilo barbell, however you want to do the math. So this is the second set, And what I'm doing is I'm just doing some strict presses. One of the things you want to put emphasis on is making sure your forearms stay parallel, starting at the bottom, and you try to focus on getting good full range of motion. You know, as the bar starts right underneath your chin, and as you push the bar upwards, your head goes through your arm, or your head moves out of the way, and then the barbell moves up, and then you push your head through your arms. It's really great for really building those shoulders, and when I want to get into Olympic lifting, I'll have a really good flexibility base because I'm trying to work this full range of motion. And now I finished my workout with some arms. I'm doing some skull crushers. Now you can see how my elbows go all the way behind my body, and what I'm trying to do is really work on improving my long head activation of my tricep. That way my tricep gets really activated, and I can really work on that spot that normally doesn't get the same attention when I do bench press or dumbbell presses. And I think I have like 80 pounds or 85 pounds on here. And then after I do the skull crushers, or overhead skull crushers, I always rep out a little bit here with like kind of a close grip bench, just to kind of get more blood in the triceps. I just like burning out my triceps when I do arms. I'm there, might as well just keep going. And then it just so happens that I'm circuiting with some easy curl bar curls with the same amount of weight. I do 5 sets of 5s and 6s. To be totally honest, I just like to save on time, and I'm lazy to adjust the weight. Probably should be doing a little bit lighter of a weight because the weight's too. Because I like to, usually when I do small muscle groups, I like to keep the repetitions on the higher range, like 8 or 12 repetitions. But I wanted to get all this in, and this workout was taking me way too long. I had to break it up in 2 sessions because I mean, the deadlifts and the squats just took so long for me to warm up and get flexible for the positions. Upper body's not too bad. I did find myself just getting a little tired because I was still working out fasted. And then some more bicep curls. Always trying my best to pull my shoulder blades back, pinch my shoulder blades together, and brace my stomach really tight to make sure that my hips and back doesn't move too much. I'm moving a lot because the weight is heavier than what I'm used to using. And then here you can see me. This is what I do in between sets. Not all the time, but just so happens I'm playing some Ascension. I love this game. Of all the games that I play on my iPhone, this is probably my favorite game. I don't play a whole lot of games other than that, mainly because my friend. I'm a Magic geek. I'm a Magic nerd, so I used to play a lot of Magic: The Gathering back in the day. So this is sort of my replacement for that. That's not quite as time-consuming. And then final set. I think I'm pretty exhausted, so I think I want to get like 7 or 8 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. Yeah, right there, I think. Yep, 7. And I just rep out some more to get those triceps flared up. And then my last set of curls, side view. I'm sure if you like working arms, it's just great how they look. I wish my arms stayed like that after working out. Just so awesome to push that hard. Alright, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please comment below if you learned anything from here, or if there's anything you want me to review in my workouts. I mess with a bunch of different programming for myself, whether it be bodybuilding, powerlifting, stuff that I learned, just stuff to keep working out fun and interesting for myself personally. So anyways, thanks for watching.